Another shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Another shot is gonna hit you with a mind overload and on it. The bar is always open with no inhibitions. Another shot will leave your sensories twitching. Just remember, everything we say is just our opinion. But then again, it might be the alcohol talking. It might be the alcohol talking. Let's go.
Welcome to Another Shot Podcast, where our opinions might be real, or it could just be the liquor talking. Sit back and enjoy another shot.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to Another Shots Wednesday Night Open Bar. It's our Wednesday Night Open Talk, Open Chat. So let's go ahead and drop that link. Let's see if we can get some conversation from some people. Looking forward to it, guys. Can't believe it's the middle of the week already. I'm just kind of, feels like yesterday was just Tuesday. I mean, honestly. Let that one sink in for a second. Somebody's just not in it, not there. You got your boy Bill in the house and behind the camera as always, just kind of stoic and quiet and still looking cute as always in her little beanie. Lady Jesus herself, kitty cat. I don't know about you, but got a little bit later than what I was hoping to tonight. That one was partially on me. Kitty cat was... I don't know, what time did you show up, sweetie?
6:30.
So it must have been right when I was getting out of the shower. I'm in a weird mood tonight. How often do you see me bring out the gym? You never do. Do you ever stop and think, what did you want to be truly when you grew up?
I am that.
Huh?
I am that.
You am that. What is that?
A mom.
A mom. That was it. That was just a mom.
I had a lot of other ambitions, but the only true thing I've ever truly wanted was to be a wife and a mother. And they told me at a young age the mother part wasn't going to be possible, and I proved them all wrong. I have 3 beautiful children that I am very, very proud of.
So outside of the easy one, because there was a time where I can honestly say I didn't think I was ever going to have kids. I was all about the partying, the fun, I was going to run around, and albeit the first person I was engaged to, I think everybody at one point, I'm going to throw this out there. At least I've known a bunch of people that it's, 15, 16 were buying rings for girls because they thought, that was going to be the one. Everybody had that one love back then. But the first person I actually went down on one knee and asked to marry me was 11 years older than me. 10 and a half technically, and already had 3 kids. And honestly, that kind of, at 19, eh, I swore up and down I wasn't gonna, I didn't think that was for me. It really wasn't. But, like I said, I mean, there was a time where I thought I was going to be a marine biologist. I was going to be out on a boat, middle of the ocean, studying sharks. And then, like I said, I changed majors. I thought sports. I'm more into sports now. And I think back on all this because, what's funny, you saying what you said. Um, I work with somebody right now that is constantly saying, I can't wait to be a mom. I want to be a mother. And I'm like, well, first off, they're at the age now that, I took on being a quote unquote dad.
It's not as easy as everybody believes it to be.
It's only as hard as you make it. I mean, it's easy to sit down and watch TV with them and just, all right, make sure you do good. You need a little bit of help with your homework. So, it's a totally different monster when you're trying to like guide them in a direction, try and show them the responsibility, try and show them, you can sit back and just let them learn everything all day. There's the easy stuff. Here's some chores. Here's this. Here's that. Here, let me give you a little money for your chores. That's all an allowance. Keep your room clean. I'll give you $1 for the week. Stuff like that. But it's a different monster when you're sitting down trying to, and that's why I asked, what did you want to be? Because I know when I hear, somebody that was my age when I first took on the responsibility of 3, let alone 1. And then in the same sentence, tell me how nervous they couldn't be a mom. They don't want to, well, which is it? And it's the same person that I think about all the jobs I've had, all the stuff I've done, all the different way, at the end of the day, this was definitely not one of my career paths. And I've mentioned before, this is something my dad did. He was an auto mechanic. He was actually a certified Dodge mechanic. My brother followed in his footsteps. My middle brother, my sister at one point got into it. Her husband was a bit, he used to be. I think he can't do it anymore. But it's so. Like I said, I think you make it as hard as you want to make it. That where it really starts falling flat is where it's not falling flat. That's the wrong way to put it. The struggle truly begins when you like me and Connor, I always tried to, I thought he would be real interested in sharks, and he got into them. But then he decided, later on down the road, does he love to fish? He loves to fish. Yes, all day long. My oldest loves fishing. He loves going to the ocean. But then, you kind of saw certain things take shape. Like he really got into Greek mythology. And, he kind of started forming it. And I thought, okay, well, and then he acted like he wanted to be a history major for a little while. And I thought, well, when you were deciding what you wanted to do, was the money or was it the passion for what it was? Like me, I was in love with sharks, wanted to be on the ocean. Is there a lot of money in, archaeology? There. That's something it's one thing I didn't know about you. I mean, I never, did you have aspirations growing up? What did you want to be? That's why I asked. You went, I am it. And it's like, let's go.
I had a lot of aspirations, but I was one that could never make a decision. I'm passionate about a lot of things. So I get as much knowledge as I can about everything that means something to me. But the only true thing that has ever stuck with me totally 100% is being a wife and a mother.
Did you want to be a stay-at-home mom, just, and the husband go out and be, the provider? Was that in that,
Not entirely. Obviously, in today's economy, you can't survive on,
one income?
well, you can survive on one income if that income is substantial, but
I was actually just thinking that.
My situation was not substantial enough to warrant being able to stay home. Growing up, I absolutely hated math. But about 15 years ago, I started working as an office manager. And I love that part of it. I loved, the filing, I was in charge of the office. I was the one that opened the office. I took all the phone calls. I made all the appointments. I did all the filing. I did all the cleaning, everything for the office. And there was just 3 of us that worked in the office. But it was an accounting. And as I'm filing papers and entering stuff into computer, and because of the way I have to be able to read things and interpret things, it takes me a little longer. Again, I have no self-conscious.
Self-confidence?
Yes, thank you. Confidence. So I double check and triple check, and that come in handy when you're dealing with taxes. I found an error that a person had made, and I pointed it out to my boss. So she showed me the proper way, and it ended up getting somebody back an extra decent amount of money that they should have gotten the first time, but the numbers were transponded. And she said, "You're really, that comes easy to you to catch those kinds of things." And I said, "Well, sort of, but yeah." So she started showing me how to do different things, and I fell in love with it.
So the irony is you hated math back in school, and yet you found a passion in something in dealing with a lot of numbers and actual math.
Yeah.
On a resume, it never looks good when you've got a resume that is like 2.5 pages long. Now, if that 2.5 pages, let's say you work for 2 different companies and you learn, on the first page, the first company, it was, I learned this, this, and this, and this. This is my responsibility. This is where I moved up. So on a second one was the second, in my case, I mean, I've got construction. I've got restaurant. I've got factory. I've got security. I've got prison stuff. I got, and yes, folks, when I say prison, I work in the prison now. Been to prison.
Yeah.
Spent 1 night in jail for kind of.
I know.
Years out past curfew.
Years ago, a good 30 some years ago. My mom was doing all my paperwork. And she had a conniption fit because I had 13 W-2s in 1 year.
That's a lot. I think the most I've ever had was like maybe 3.
13 in 1 year. And they were all different kind of places.
I can't say I'm fully and completely disappointed in, I do have a lot of experience. I've had a lot of fun at most of the jobs. I love doing construction. I love building. There's certain parts of it I don't like. I hate roofing. I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely 100% hate roofing. Not just because of the heights thing, but I never liked being on the roof. Now, if I'm just hanging out, we had a house where we would jump up on we had such a low hanging overhang of the porch. We jump up on the back of a vehicle, climb up there, and then sit on top of the house. Just, me and Daniel used to sit on my mom's ex-boyfriend's barn. He was trying to build a barn. We'd sit up there on the roof and just drink beer and bullshit,
I don't think there is too many roofers that actually enjoy being on a roof.
But I mean, from start to finish, being able to, I love framing. Obviously, there's certain thing, but absolutely love drywall. I don't know why. It's one of the messiest jobs. It's horrible. You're breathing in the dust. I mean, hell, just this little bit you did right here. We did that in a pinch, honestly. I'll tell you right now, even what we did, we half-assed. But we needed it done. So, I mean, you can only polish a turd so much, but it also falls into, I've made some good friends, but there's also been some bosses. It's like,
yeah, I've worked at a lot of places, obviously, a lot of places, and I have learned that I am best being my own boss.
I think that
I see things differently. I interpret things differently. Don't get me wrong. I learn very quickly on things. So if you show me and you let me show it to me once, let me do it once, and pretty much it becomes repetition. And it's easy enough for me. And I am able to pivot. If something goes wrong, I am able to pull it around to where I need it to. When things go awry or whatever. But with my mood swings and my attitudes, and I'm not good with people telling me that I have to do something. So it's just simpler for me to be my own boss.
But at the same time, you are like a lot of other people I know, and I even got to catch myself at times. You're very authoritative yourself, though. You want to be, you have to be in control. You have to be, you don't want to be bossed, but you want a boss.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And that causes...
It's a control issue is really what it is.
Now, when you say a control issue, what do you mean?
It's like driving a car.
Okay.
And riding in a car.
Now, this I like this analogy because I'm one of the world's worst passengers at times.
Don't get me wrong. I am grateful on the days that I don't have to drive, because driving all the time, as much as I love driving, it does get tiresome to have to constantly go. But when I'm not the one behind that wheel and I'm not in control of whether it goes right or left or straight or backwards, forwards, it it's keeps me constantly on edge unless I literally close my eyes and go to sleep.
There are a few people I trust to ride with without being uppity. I'll tell you what, if you ever ride with 6ix9ine, you'll be as comfortable as I'll get out. He is snail's pace.
But see, that would drive me nuts.
That's just kind of
It's not. You have to go at a comfortable speed where you're not going too slow, or then I get agitated. But if you go too fast, then I get agitated and anxious. If you take this turn a little too wide or a little too short, then it's just it's everything. I don't have control over the situation, so my brain is constantly saying, no, that's wrong, no, that's wrong, no, that's wrong, whether it's this way or this way. There's no even. That's why it's just best for me to close my eyes and go to sleep.
I guess I fell under a lucky star because you and I have ridden together, whether it's me driving or you driving, and neither one of us have ever had too much of an issue.
At least not that made aware of, anyways.
Okay.
Again, I get in the passenger seat and I'm anxious, period. That's why a lot of the time when I get into a passenger seat, I get quiet.
I'm going to say this very polite. You've never been quiet. You and I always continue to converse and talk, and what's nice about riding with you, I love Sarah, obviously, but she's one of those ones, oh look. No, I'm kind of trying to,
Yeah. It's Blue's this, and Blue's one of those ones where he can drive, but he's sightseeing at the same time. And that drives me absolutely nuts. He'll be looking off into the field at deer, and there's two right in front of him. He sees them, but in my mind, he doesn't see them because he's not looking at them. He's looking at the ones over here in this field. So yeah, I'm not. I'm
one of those ones. Not only am I looking at the vehicle in front of me, I'm looking at the vehicles like 2, 3, 4 ahead. If I see 1, 2 ahead of the one in front of me hit his turn signals, I'm already starting to I'm bracing to start slowing down and braking up, or I'll change lanes or something, because I know what's coming. It's
Yeah, you should see me on a plane.
They don't bother me. I'm assuming they bother you.
I'm a lot better than I used to be. It used to be half of a drugstore before I could get on a plane because I was deathly afraid of flying.
Sarah,
Now I don't have to have any medication. Getting through the airport is more anxiety than getting on the plane.
Agreed.
Um,
Especially today. Last time I was on a plane was 10 years ago.
Yeah. I can get on the plane now, but I carry my headset with me. I put my Bluetooth headset in. I turn my music on. Once we're on the plane and I'm in my seat, I know I don't have to move and I'm buckled in and the door has shut. I don't even listen to their spew about, the airbags will fall down and you're this, and I don't listen to any of that stuff anymore. I've done it enough times. I know where everything is. Okay, I'm good. I put it on and I put my head down. And usually I'm asleep right after takeoff.
I had a laptop in front of me, so I had at the time it was the top 100 UFC fights. They were the full fights. So I just sit down and hit play, put my headsets on, and go.
The couple of times I've flown with the kids, I've done the movie thing where we watched a movie during it. But that's straight ahead of me. And again, Bluetooth headset in, listening to the movie, and I'm okay.
You know, for somebody that's afraid of heights, I'll tell you right now, I'm the guy that wants to sit by the window because I think it's neat looking out and seeing over the clouds. And now I've never got to go over water yet, but
Oh, my first flight, no, I didn't want, but when I flew with Elizabeth for the first time, and she's my daredevil, she's not afraid of anything. She, you know, of course, she had to be able to look out the window. So then she showed me. And you have to do those things for your kids. You have to be strong, and you have to, you know, hold in your fear and everything else and do it with your kids. And then I was comfortable. So now I'm okay with it. I actually prefer a window seat because it gives me something to lean on.
and you can always just go.
Kind of thing. And yeah, I keep my window closed. I usually, if I wake up mid-flight, I'll open it and see nothing but clouds. Now it is really, really pretty, especially in the summertime when I fly, because it's all green down here, but up there it's all clouds. So it just looks like a bunch of snow-covered mountains.
Sure.
It's really cool. But yeah, pulling up the blind to just 20 minutes out of Jacksonville and you're seeing water. That's all you're seeing is water. And then all of a sudden you notice that you're getting closer and you can see boats and you can see this and you can see that. I have a habit of, it's a 2-hour flight. I have a habit of always waking up 15 to 20 minutes before they say we're descending. And I can open my window, and that's when I start watching. And when I start seeing the ground get closer and closer, then I'm able to see the houses, and I'm able to see the cars moving, and the cars that look like little tiny, tiny ants, and they get bigger and bigger. Then I'm like, okay, I'm there. We're there. And I can literally see the treetops. And then, okay, they're full trees. We're good. We're on the ground. And then I breathe better.
I gotta go. Let's circle back around a second. So let's the authority thing. Does any of it have to do with gender?
Nope.
Not one little bit.
Nope.
And the only reason I ask that is because, again, I you know, there's people I work with that you know, everybody's got their own. One in particular will be the first one. You want some help? You need to do it this way. Do it this way. Do this. Do this. Do that. Do this. Do that. Bark, 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 bark. All right, your job's complete. They're in the middle of doing something. You go over, and there's been times where they're like, fuck off. I don't need help. I don't need help. You got 4 tires right here that need done. I got them all. Hey, by the way, we're supposed to be doing it. No. I've never had a problem. And then this individual has come out and said, yeah, no, I don't need help from a man.
Yeah, no. I'm not one that, whether if it's an authority figure, whether it's a male or a female, I'm not good with authority figures, period. I've been that way since I was little. Now you talk to me when I worked at the office. My boss wasn't my boss. She was a very close friend. And she never talked down to me like I was her employee. Always able to communicate properly. Never gave me orders. Asked me to do things, but never gave me orders. Said, okay, I need this done, but didn't say, okay, you have to do this, this, and this. So when you being my boss can be my friend and talk to me like we're equals and not like you're better than me, we get along way better.
But you also have to be able to understand when somebody is just talking and not giving orders. Because there's times, and I'm not directing this, but where it's like, let's go ahead and do this. And then the response is, I'm not doing that. So where's the difference on that one? What happened to the communication there?
Like, what do you mean?
Okay, so let's go with work again. All right. So we're supposed to do things in a different, specific way, and they're starting to crack down on things more and more because certain people have been getting complaints. So when you go up and you say, "Look, let's, I'll get this, I'll do this, and how about you make sure you hit this, and we'll go ahead and we'll get this." I'm not doing that. Well, why not? That's actually how we're supposed to. And did you not just get in trouble for not doing that? Kind of makes sense now. Like if you don't want to do something, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Does that make sense now?
Yes and no.
So here, I'll tell you what. We'll go personal on this one. The other day, when I suggested, I'm like, you know what, let's go ahead and take full mics. Somebody looked at me and went, I'm not doing that.
No, I did not say I'm
Yeah,
not. I did
We
not.
actually got cameras, and we got cameras.
I did not say
there's even other people that were standing right there like, whoa.
I did not say I'm not doing that. I said we don't need to do that because
Actually,
that's
the exact words were, I'm not taking all the mics. That's the direct quote. So that's where, and it's not an attack here. This is me saying, when there's communication, we need to figure out actual communication and not, you'd be pissed off if I turn around and said, no, we're not doing that. I mean, it's got to be give and take. And there's times you've gotten pissed off at me. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this stuff either. I'm not saying I'm perfect over there. Hell, me and, some of the higher ups were just having a conversation about that today. And it's just kind of like, you kind of got to sit back and think, okay, so maybe what if I had done this? What if we had, on that note, while you're pondering, go ahead and kick one out real quick because I'm going to dump this ice and not bust everybody's eardrums. Oh, what do we got? What haven't we listened to? May I suggest some Delta Circle? We haven't done them in a long time now. Excuse me. Which one is that? This is our friends out of. Well,
I was looking for it. It's right here.
Well, you know what? I was looking the other day too, and I'm like, I know we have Delta Circle on here, and it says DC. You'd think. This is our friends out of Atlanta, Georgia, Delta Circle with Here's to a Small Town. Guys, we'll be right back.
Here's to the ones working hard all week, making this the land we love. Here's to the ones behind the scenes, this town shine like gold. We crank it up and play it loud so the whole world knows. The place we lay our heads at night, the place I learned to cuss and fight, the place where mama taught me how to pray, the place where we know y'all by name, the place where I was born and raised. Sure as hell wouldn't want it any other way. Here's to a small town. We kick up dust on Friday nights, live it up under neon lights. We sneak our bottles to the game and wear their red and black with pride. The place we lay our heads at night, the place I learned to cuss and fight, the place where mama taught me how to pray, the place where we know y'all by name, the place where I was born and raised. Sure as hell wouldn't want it any other way. Here's to a small town. Been gone so long on the road, now it's time to come home, to see those red dirt roads I used to roam. The place we lay our heads at night, the place I learned to cuss and fight, the place where mama taught me how to pray, the place where we know y'all by name, the place where I was born and raised. Sure as hell wouldn't want it any other way. Here's to a small town. Here's to a small town.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Welcome back. By the way, that was our friends Delta Circle with Here's to a Small Town. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to start, I guess you could say, busting some scones over in the New York area and say, hey, we going to do this? Oh, man. So, kind of going back to what I was saying, originally, there's multiple reasons why I think we didn't follow the game plan we originally had come up with. And when I say game plan, I'm talking about, you said you had a lot of ideas growing up that, what you might have wanted to get into and be and so on and so forth. Especially today, it's not the easiest thing in the world. But I think, what's a good way to put this? For me, it was never about money. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to do it, but I got scared a little bit thinking, okay, first off, I'm not getting to go to a university like I wanted to, because I used to have a book. My mom had got me a book. It was all the universities. It was the top 2,500 universities in the U.S. And, it had what was their major, what were they most known for? What was, how much, was tuition? And I'm thinking back, back then, Florida State, it was like 35,000. Now that was in the early 90s, and I could be wrong on that, but some of the other schools I was looking at was like 60,000. I mean, Jesus Christ, you look at like MIT and Harvard,
Okay, so along that line, one of my children is very insistent on school.
okay.
Constantly getting emails from different schools and invites to tour and do this and do that and do this and do that. Where they're actually getting upset with me now because they're getting invites to this place or to that place or to this place or to that place, and I keep saying no, it's just not possible. It's just we're not doing that right now. And I feel bad. I don't want them to lose their want for the education, but I also am afraid that going so early to tour or to do this or to do that will get invested too much and not be able to I don't want them to get their heart set on something and not be able to achieve that goal. You know what I mean?
Well, I could see that. Yes, agreed. And my mom was actually the same way. Love you, Mom, but the one thing she used to say is, she knew I wanted to go to like Notre Dame. She knew I was always real big on, some of these named schools. But bear in mind, I was a kid, I'm thinking Notre Dame football, But she used to tell me, instead of saying, no, you're not going, she would say, you're going to need a scholarship. So don't you think that's where we would need to kind of push them in the direction, all right, if you're wanting this, you're going to have to work your ass off.
Already done that one.
But, like Connor, we, as soon as he was age, I was like, all right, kid, you might want to think about getting a job. You might want to start putting some back, saving up, especially his senior year. I really started to crack down on him about his grades. I said, a lot of these schools that you're thinking about, they do look at the grades. Schools, not so much today anymore. I don't think they're as picky because they just want the kids to go to school. No, I mean, I know a million people that say, oh, college is worthless. It really isn't.
Well, they have worked really, really hard at their grades. They understand the only way they're going is scholarships or, different things like that. They know it's just not feasible for us to send them, especially to some of these Ivy League schools. When do I say, okay, we can go ahead and start scheduling?
Well, I know exactly who you're talking about. So I can honestly say I'd give it another year or two. Let them actually really dig in. And then, because this is what we did with my
time, they're still unsure of
I changed mine day of sign up.
Their major, minor, their all of this, and they're all over the place. They get emails on a daily basis. The last time it was mentioned is like 600 and some odd emails in the account that are just from colleges. But that's because they've gone to these different college fairs and have signed up.
I was gonna say, wait until that. Once their name's out there, then
it's like a nonstop.
I still get them. TCU just sent us one.
Yeah.
The Horned Frogs. Let's get these. Just sit there. But I mean, That is awesome because mine are doing the same thing. One wants to go to John Hopkins.
Mhm. We actually got invited.
And I'll tell you right
That's
now,
one of the tours they want to do.
I mean, honestly, it's not going to hurt to look. But I will say this. The first one always sets the bar high. But we remember the Gannon trip.
Well,
And then, trust me, SRU wasn't even close to a consideration because, I mean, he was 100% sold. He was going to Gannon. We would go up there for the wrestling practices. He did a lot with Gannon. And then at the end of the day, but see, the thing of it is, it's not just having good grades. You know, you have to apply yourself in certain, like what would be in, what would work with your major.
mhm.
Okay, so one particular person we know, not a lot of jobs out there require photography. But let's say under a lucky star, they start sending, pictures into a local newspaper. And they're like, okay, we like this, or you can send them into magazines, just, whatever, there's certain paths you can go that would help your cause. But, another thing is, a lot of college resumes, well, what are your other activities? Well, I know one kid in particular, he's real big with his church. He did a lot of scout stuff. He was constantly doing fundraisers with, or whatever, he was doing stuff with the community. So it doesn't just have to be their particular, what they're going to major in, but, like my youngest, she wants to be, she's thinking she wants to get into medicine. Okay, that's awesome. So when you get old enough to be able to do so, volunteer at the hospital. Go to, some of the local, put that down.
One of mine is also in that field, and we've already been to the hospital, and I've already gotten all the information of when they can start doing their volunteer work and the different hours. We've already gone. Yeah, I know enough that they're not going to look at just grades. They're going to look at the after school activities. They're going to look at this. I understand all of that, so I already have all of that in play.
So then what's the problem? Don't hold them back. That's the worst thing you do is say, just not going to happen. Don't say, don't even say it's not feasible. You got to make it realistic.
I'm
You have to
looking
keep
at
them-
it's January, and she got an email the end of last week, and there's an open house social thing on the 27th and 28th of this month, which is next week. Wants me to just say, okay, let's go.
if it was summertime, maybe just for the fun of it, it might be a fun family outing. You can look at it this way.
And it is one of the schools that I've been open to.
But
It's a little bit of a drive, but not bad. It's not as close to Slippery Rock, but it's not Michigan.
I'm also starting to pick up on a little something here, beautiful. And it's a conversation you and I were having the other night. You don't want them going too far away from home.
Oh no, I have no problem. This person, they want to go south, they want to go here, they want to go there. That's fine. That's fine. Just know that I'm following.
No, you will cut the cord, beautiful. You have to.
But my realization is, even though, okay, I'm just going to straight out say it, whether she's listening or not, it is my daughter. She is only 15. She's only in 10th grade.
Yes. So when you said that, were you meaning when they go to school? Are you going to follow them even after they graduate and they are off their way to college? She decides she's going to go to USC all the way over in California. You're going to be like, fuck it. We're West Coasters now.
Well, that was sort of mine and Steve's plan, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the other ones?
We already have that taken care of.
Taken care of. So, in other words, you didn't guide them in a path. You forced them on a path.
Nope. Ask them what they wanted.
So let me ask you this then. How are they going to learn experience with mama and daddy right up their ass?
It's not that we would be right up their butt. If she wants to go to school in Florida, she wants to go to school in Texas, okay. I will move closer because I want to go south to the southern states anyways. But the school that she's been invited to for this thing next week is just right. And it's a school that I believe would work.
Now,
But again, she's in 10th grade. Yes, she's taking some 11th grade classes, and she's even got 2 college courses she's doing right now. When I spoke to the guidance counselor, she's in the process of combining like her 10th and 11th and her 11th and 12th grade together so that she can graduate a year early. She's doubling up on all of her credits and doing all of this kind of stuff, and she is working very, very hard.
so my opinion of this, we already know that my boys, when he's done with SRU, he wants to do 2 years down in Florida. All of us nobody really wants their kids. I'm sure my mom was the biggest fan of, when I was like, hey, I want to go here, 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 that really, now I moved back up here in 97. And I guarantee that broke her heart. But, me and Tennessee just never go along. I wanted to come home. I gave it chance after chance after chance. Just, I never felt accepted. Now, granted, I moved back up here, and it doesn't matter that I was from here. I knew everybody there. These are kids I went to, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. I knew them. But I was from Tennessee. I lived in Tennessee. So according to them, I was, that country bumpkin. Kind of a double-edged sword for me. I still am excited to go out and, experience. We fucked up. We made mistakes. And that's why I said, all we can do is put them on the path. And I think that's just taking it too far when you're saying that you want to follow them no matter where they go. Let them, you got.
Well, if she goes to one of the 2 schools, I'm definitely not following her there.
Yeah, God forbid they end up going further north.
No. Well, actually, a couple of the schools that she's been looking at are Vermont and the colder states. No, I want to go south. And I'm not saying it's just Blue and I's theory is we want to go south, period. If she chooses a colder state, I'm still going south. I'm just saying if she goes the whole way out to California, yeah, I'm not too far behind. I'm not going to be right there, but I'm going to be close enough that it's not going to take 2 days to get to.
You could live in the desert.
Yeah,
I could actually
definitely.
see you guys thriving in the desert.
Actually, no, because it's a drier air there.
I could too. those four
I've been to New Mexico. It's a much drier air there. Texas is actually where I was conceived. My biological father's family is from Texas. But know that I do have 3 realtors that I've been working with for the last couple of years. And they just keep me appraised to the different prices and the different things and what's available in Florida, Arkansas, Missouri, Georgia, North Carolina.
You got me to North Carolina. I moved to. How many times have I said? I've said it on here. I've said it to Sarah. I said to everybody. If it wasn't here, I'd have wanted to move to the banks.
And there's quite a few places, like on our drive from here to my parents' house in Florida. There's quite a few places that I've fallen in love with that just, they're so serene and just breathtaking and relaxing. Now, I don't know if that's how it is if I were to live there, but when I was there, it just felt, I could feel at home. You know what I mean?
Now, one of the things I will say is, a lot of people think, like my daughter just brought up John Hopkins. It doesn't always matter the school either. If it's got a solid medical program, which believe it or not, SRU does. Pitt, Vanderbilt, UT, if I'm not mistaken, Duke down in North Carolina, Georgia Tech. These are all schools that I'm pretty sure, no, I'm not 100% on all of them, but I know.
She keeps bouncing back and forth between whether she wants law or whether she wants medical. Those are 2 very, very different and 2 very, very difficult studies to go into.
Yeah, but it's amazing how those 2 go hand in hand too. It's like the old joke, a lot of doctors, one of their favorite jokes was I should have went into law. So, I mean, at the end of the day, don't be afraid to push them towards, if she's got, if she can get in there.
Oh, I've already
SMU, Duquesne.
No, one of the biggest schools that has constantly emailed her on a regular basis. And I'm just completely blown away. It's the name that I love. It's Harvard. That's in a New England state. That's cold.
That's in Massachusetts. Beautiful.
It's New England. It's cold.
MIT, Boston, Harvard, Yale.
Hey, Arliss.
What's going on, Arliss?
You never got back to me, so I take it you're not going to be in studio.
Well, that makes sense, especially since we're almost an hour in now. That's okay. He had a bro date tonight. It was all good.
In his defense, he had quite a bit to drink. I'm not sure he remembered.
It happens even to the best of us. It was fun seeing him let loose like that and kind of, wild hog, we'll call it. Cheers, brother. But on that note, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's. Sorry, he didn't get them. It's all good, homie. We'll get some stuff going. Kitty Cat, before we wrap this one up, I don't know where that storm's going to start this Saturday, but I do know that we got 2 different things going on Saturday. We got Long Boys.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, the bourbon did the dirty. The other thing is, and I'm going to have to make sure I take a pinch of cards. You know, this one comes to fruition. World of Wheels is this weekend in Pittsburgh at the David L. Lawrence. Lou Graham's going to be there on Sunday, and a lot of us were considering going Sunday. All right, cool, we can do this. Go meet the former lead singer of Foreigner. He's also got, a bunch of single hits when he went off on his own. Saturday, John Schneider and Catherine Bach are going to be there with one of the original Dukes of Hazzards. Sunday's a fun one, only because they're calling for 10 to 12 inches in Pittsburgh alone. Apparently, we got a nice little blast going. So, wheels have already begun to spin.
I honestly don't think I have enough clothes to leave the house this weekend.
Trust me, those two.
There was more than girls grabbing your butt that night.
I'm sure Hoover probably grabbed his butt a couple times. I wouldn't doubt.
Yeah. I've like literally lived in 3 or 4 layers the last couple days. I don't think I have enough clothes in my house to leave the house this weekend.
Well, if we go Saturday, the plan's going to be right after work. Definitely one of my coworkers is going to have a change of clothes. He's going to come over here, change out, and then we're just going to head straight out. It's from 10 to 9 on Saturday. Starts Friday, but I didn't see any special guests. Special guests show up Saturday. Like I said, John Snyder, who we all know played Bo Duke, and Catherine Bach, who is Daisy Duke.
He also sings.
He does. He's done
It's a
more than just the
beautiful
Dukes of Hazzard.
voice. It's a beautiful voice.
Tom Wopat can sing too, who played Bo Duke, or Luke Duke. So there's some wheels spinning. Not to mention the fact that Dan's been wanting to go and hang out. He loves the idea of going to World of Wheels. He's a huge car nut. And then, of course, we're going to be, along that stretch anyways. This is McKnight Road. He's thinking Wahlburgers or Buffalo Wild Wings and crap or something. He just likes to get out and about. I'm like, dude, I've been trying to tell him. We were talking about the economy earlier. You know how expensive it is just for the smallest meal? Yeah, it's gone up in price. I took Connor 5 years ago so he could meet Roman Reigns, and it was only like $18 to get in a piece. Pretty sure that's what it was. It's $28 to get in. Plus, you got to pay for parking because there is no free parking in that end of town. I'm sorry, the city. So there's some irons in the fire. Figure if I take some cards, maybe they're going to be in town. Possible, even if it's just on screen. Childhood heroes, like the Dukes of Hazzard. Wouldn't matter to me either day because Lou Graham, amazing singer. If you're not a Foreigner fan, then there's definitely something wrong with you. You're wrapping your head around what's on, all you got to do is just type in Foreigner sometime and you'll see all of them. One of my favorites, he did the song Lost in the Shadows for the Lost Boys. So, on that note, guys, we've hit that time of the evening. I want to thank everyone for popping in, Arliss. Good to see you, brother, as always. Make sure you guys check us out for our Thirsty Thursday Thoughts and Shots. That's tomorrow. I'm already into weekend mode. Make sure you check us out for our Thirsty Thursday Thoughts and Shots. We've got our Sunday night weekend hangover, Monday night bartender, and we round it all out with our Wednesday night open bar. Hopefully the stars align here soon enough. that still haven't come up with a name for Tuesday night. Need a good one. I need to actually sit down and work on some of my arts and crafts and get some stuff ready out here for another night. And yes, Arliss, I'm going to tell you right now, it will be a movie night. I'm going to go back to one of my favorite topics, one of my true go-tos. And since you and I have talked about this gentleman quite a few times, I know his work on camera as opposed to his music. So now I can really step into that realm. On that note, Kitty Cat, you got one? Hit it, beautiful.
If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Life is not a matter of holding good cards, but of playing the poor hand well.
That almost sounds like a country song. Arliss, you take notes on that one? We're going to do this. I'm going to have to make sure I do this, the full traditional way. We were talking about it quite a bit tonight, and again, I took a second, but I finally got her, had to kind of prod her a little bit, but I love these conversations now. I think we're starting to feed off each other very well. Now, if I could just get you a beautiful ass on screen, that'd be so much better. But at the end of the day, I think every one of us at one point had a dream, had an idea of what we wanted to do. Yes, I am, sir. I will be doing TikTok here shortly. Every one of us as a kid had, something we wanted to do when we grew up. I think GB just told us the other night that, from a very early age, that's all he ever wanted to do. He never got into sports at school. He always wanted to play the guitar and sing. I can see Arliss doing the same thing. Sometimes, it does. I still to this day wish I hadn't seen that pamphlet. That list of majors, because I went in there that day literally, and then I changed it up, and then I let a bunch of other things get in the way. Then the partying came in. Then and I just don't give up. No. Could I do it today? I'm sure of it. But at this point in my life, you said it a little while ago, and this is where you and I could be in agreement. It's just not feasible anymore. So, I strive for everybody not to let little things stumble you. If you come up with something, don't let anything stray you off. What one person can do, so can another. And I hope the best for everybody. Just remember this: it's going to take work. It's not going to happen overnight. Don't think you need to go to the biggest school. It's a good way to put this. Just don't be afraid to put in the work, because college is honestly the easy part. It's like earning your black belt in martial arts. That just says how to do it. Now you have to learn how to put it into use. College, enjoy. High school, these are the best years of your life, guys. I'm telling you right now. And I'm saying that to a bunch of people that a good chunk of them can't watch this show. But, those that are just now starting out in college, live your life. But just remember, don't let the fun overtake the responsibility. So, I guess the best way to summarize everything: follow your dreams, guys. It'll happen. You can make it happen. And that's my final shot. That was a tough one trying to put that into words. And again, how many times have I said it? It sounds good when it's here, but once it starts coming out, it's like, yeah. So at the end of the day, guys, like I said, if you're on TikTok, I am jumping on there next. I don't know if Kitty Cat's going to be able to join us much on that one. We'll discuss that for about 5 minutes after the show. Make sure you check us out Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. I'm not going to go through all the names again. Guys, everything we say on this show is just our opinion, but then again,
It could just be the alcohol talking.
You keep talking like that, I'm going to need a lot less alcohol. Cheers, guys. You have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for stopping in and listening to the Another Shot podcast. We shared some drinks, stories, and laughs. But it's time to say goodnight. Join us next time on Another Shot podcast.
If you're looking for a party, then man, have you found it? Now the shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Now the shot is gonna hit you with the mind overloaded. The bar is always open with no inhibitions. Another shot will leave your sensories twitching. Just remember, everything we say is just our opinion. But then again, it might be the alcohol talking. It might be the alcohol talking. Let's go. It's gone.